Thank you for taking time out of your day to meet with me. Won't take longer than 10 minutes. So first off, I want you to state your name, the team, your team name, and the title of your film. So we can start with Jay.
Um, sure. The team name is Jay's Impression, and the title of the film is Awake.
Thank you. And what is your role too? Go ahead.
Oh, I was the DP.
DP. All right. Thank you, Jay. And go ahead, Chastity.
Chastity is the name. My role was director, and well, we both, James and I both did script and produced,
Hmm,
and the team's name is Jay's Impression. Oh, and the
beautiful.
film title is Awake. Sorry.
Thank you for explaining your roles. It seems like you was wearing multiple hats. I love that. So now my first question is pretty general, but have you ever made a film before? If yes, how did participating in this film challenge compare to making your past film? And if not, what motivated you to join the challenge?
Go ahead, James. I'll let you go first.
Okay. So yeah, I've made um, a film before, and um, it was an eye-opening experience on the previous films that I've been on, but this was a whole different ball game altogether because I mean, it was 48 hours, but because of circumstances, we had like just like 4 hours to film, right, Chastity? Yeah, we had like just 4 hours to film, and like we had to edit. Like Chastity had to edit. Uh, what's it called? While I was sleeping because I had to travel back home and all that. Like, so we, we really have like a really small window. So um, I found myself making errors that like I would have corrected if like we had like ample time to like pay attention to detail and all that. But like I would say this was a really eye-opening experience, better than what I've been on. Because like those sets normally have like, let's say like 20 to 30 people doing different things, and so like there's literally attention to detail, and then there's like safety, like safety is taken into consideration. But whereas like we have like a really small crew, and like everybody was on a fast pace, so a lot of things were taken for granted. So like definitely like this was a really huge challenge for me.
Thank you
Uh,
for sharing. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Feel free to add.
I would say the same thing. Yes, I've worked on like a couple films before. This one was definitely different. Um, Before in like film sets, I've worn like multiple hats. So has James. But this is like we had to wear like all the hats and kind of change them in and out. And like James covered like before, due to like previous commitments from both our actors and people on their team, and especially James. We actually did everything in actually 10 hours. We actually did pre-production, production, and post-production all within 10 hours. And I'm
That
like,
wasn't even 48 hours. You did it all
yeah,
in 10
no,
hours. That's impressive.
yeah, it's like we had to like knock everything out, and we calculated. We was like, yo, we did this in hours. That's crazy, which is very challenging, but that's what we wanted. Like that's why we decided to make the commitment to actually do this. Is we wanted to stretch ourselves as creatives and actually like take on the challenge to see like how far is our ability to go as content creators and as filmmakers to do a storyline within 48 hours and actually make it good. And it also tested us. Like we all creatives are perfectionists. They want perfection, but this taught us that you can't always aim for perfection. It's nice, but if you don't hit it, at least you hit your goal, and that's just a big step in itself. So yeah.
Thank you for saying that. I think it was beautifully said. And I had a follow-up question, but you kind of both answered it. My follow-up question was exactly that's like, how did that constraint affect your creative process or challenge it? And you pretty much said it. It challenged you to think outside the box too, if anything, because you have a time constraint. Feel free to add anything to that, Jay.
I'm so sorry.
Um, yeah, I mean, what's it called? We were pretty much blank because I stopped watching horror movies like a while ago. So like I don't have an idea of like how horror movies were shot or anything. So like we're pretty much blank on the story. I remember when I told Chastity about like the genre we're in, she was like, "Really? Like out of everything you chose a horror film?" So like I told her to like try to come up with something. And, she was blank. I was blank. So I just turned to like what gives me like a creative urge, which is like video games. And after the video games, like the ideas kept flowing in, and like it normally that's what happens, but I had to play for long for this to happen because like um, I'm never the type to like come up with things on the spot. Mostly like I have to see something that inspires me for it to come. But this was like right on the spot because like when I picked and I saw horror film, I was like, yeah, no. So yeah, it was really a challenging one for me. Very, very challenging. And I think it was a
Your
good.
first time doing a horror film?
What's that?
Was this your first time doing a horror film?
Yeah, my very
So
first time
now
shooting.
my question is, if the genre would have been different, or the location, I know that was picked at random, would that have affected your process in making the film? What would you prefer? What genre would you prefer?
Um, genre wise, maybe something on the drama side or
Comedy.
something. Yeah, comedy,
Yeah.
right? Like something on maybe romantic comedy. You know, like those are like mostly like my forte. I'd say. So like that's like something that I would have like been very comfortable with. But this was like out of my comfort zone. So um, I really am proud of myself and my team for being able to put this together because like honestly, before we started shooting, I was like, maybe it's not gonna happen. I said it, like maybe it's not gonna happen. And before we
No, you
shot,
didn't. No, you didn't. James,
nah,
don't lie. Don't lie for no.
nah, I'm serious. I'm
He was
serious.
over here saying if you look up confidence in dictionaries, his picture and his name. Don't sit up here and lie.
So
I was the doubtful one. He was
You was the doubtful one then, and Jay was
so I
comforting.
didn't show as much, but when I was shooting, before we shot the short film, I had a photo shoot where like for an engagement, and the person was my friend. So like I told her about like what I was gonna go do right after that. So she was like, I mean, I've seen your work, like you do good work, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about this one. And she was like, are you kidding me? Like you think we came all the way from Connecticut to do this shoot with you just because we wanted to do this shoot with you? It was only because we believed in you, which is why we came to do this shoot with you. So I was like, okay, I mean, that makes me feel better. So that was when I think Chastity called me to check if we're still doing it, right? And that was when I was like, that was when I told her that, like, yeah, I'm the real definition of confidence. It's when it comes to like,
Wait, so let me get this right. You came from Connecticut all the
nah,
way to the part of your team. Okay,
no, the shoot the prior engagement I had to shooting, they came
okay,
from.
I see. Wow. The dedication is real. I love it.
didn't
So
say.
now, Chastity, I think you had mentioned this, but I know you had mentioned like being a creative. When you're a creator, like we're always seeking perfection, right? So now my question is, if you were to do this challenge again next year, and Jay, you brought this up too, that you were like picking at the little fine details, but it's like, what is something you would do differently if you had the opportunity to do this over again?
With the same like setup.
Same set, same challenge, maybe of course a different genre, maybe different for next year. What would you do differently?
Um, I think for us, what caused like the biggest headache was the genre, because both of us both don't like horror films, and we was like, dang, we got the one genre we don't like. And I think that's what kind of caused us to even stretch our creativity, because it's something that we're not used to. So we had to come out the box and kind of like, all right, what can we do to kind of bring this forth? If I did this again and something different, I don't know, because this was all a learning experience. So I don't know if I would do anything like completely different. I would just probably do a different genre, and the storyline would probably be even better and more detailed, and like the smallest fine details that we missed because we was rushing against the clock, we would have probably picked up. But I don't know. I think this was like, I just encourage people to do it because it's such a learning experience, and you learn about yourself too as a filmmaker and like as a creative, like what you can take and what you can't. And it's like, it teaches you, be outside the box. It's fine. So I don't know if that answered your question.
No, that did answer my question, because I was gonna follow up with like just giving advice to an aspiring filmmaker who is interested in participating in the next challenge. What advice would you give? But I think you pretty much answered it. So
challenge. It's a creative experience. It'll push you outside the box, and don't aim for perfection.
Exactly. If you can name one area that you grew in, just participating in the challenge. So I know you said it tested a lot of things, right? You had to wear a lot of hats. What is one thing, if you can name it?
Go ahead, James. I'll let you first.
Oh, being able to come up with an idea on the spot, because I'm the type to like just sleep over it and like
overthink it.
Yeah. So like coming up with an idea on the spot and also like improvising, like my sense of improvisation came to play, and like I feel like it was way exaggerated than it used to be. So yeah, I would say those are like the two things that I felt like really came to play in this project.
You both try something new outside. You thought outside the box and outside your comfort zone, right? A horror movie. So
Yeah.
thank you again for answering my questions, for taking time out of your day to meet with me for a brief 10 minutes and answer my questions. Can we expect to see you next year for the challenge?
Of course.
Will you make a comeback? Yes, I mean, awesome.
If we lose, I'm just playing. Not yet.
So if you win a couple awards, you'll consider coming back for next year then?
I mean, we gotta like keep the momentum going,
right? You gotta come back and reclaim that title, whatever title exactly. You get, right?
And then if we lose, we gotta come back and get the title. You know?
Exactly. Steal the title. Well, thank you so much, Jay. Chastity, thank you so much.